Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into Prospect Assist AI and how it's mastering multilingual credit intelligence. Now, if you've ever looked at India's fast-paced retail lending sector, you know that speed and accuracy in credit assessment are, well, they're absolutely everything. Financial institutions are just moving at breakneck speeds trying to process these massive volumes of applications. But amidst all this rapid growth, there's a huge fundamental challenge that's really standing in the way of true efficiency.
It brings up a really critical question. How do you underwrite a loan when you don't speak the borrower's language? It sounds kind of basic, right? But honestly, it's a very real-world struggle. Traditional underwriting teams are out there constantly battling with unstructured profile evaluations. They're trying to make sense of credit-invisible prospects, everyday people who just don't have a formal credit history yet. Think about it. When a potential borrower walks into a branch and there's a language barrier preventing clear communication about their complex financial history, the entire process just bogs down. Or worse, it completely halts. Okay, let's dive into this. There is a really stark contrast between how this is traditionally handled and how AI is solving it today. On one side, you have the outdated struggles of traditional underwriting, which is totally bogged down by those unstructured evaluations and massive language barriers we just talked about. But on the flip side, we have the solution, which is Prospect Assist AI. This enterprise standard platform literally flips the script. It uses instant, highly secure server-side Gemini AI models. And that server-side part, that's absolutely crucial. It means sensitive bank data stays completely private and never leaks to the public web. Add in the comprehensive multilingual capabilities, and it's built to be highly adaptive and lightning fast for Indian financial institutions.
And that brings us to this incredibly powerful number, 22. So what does this mean? Well, this represents all of India's constitutional languages, and Prospect Assist AI supports every single one of them. By offering complete support for all 22 languages, this platform does something really incredible. It bridges that critical gap between complex, rigid financial data and the personalized borrower relationships that local branches absolutely need to build. Suddenly, language isn't a barrier to financial access anymore. It's actually a tool for connection.
So what does this look like in practice? Well, it essentially functions as a central command center. A branch manager can look at this sleek, dark mode, interactive analytics panel and track real-time loan segment distribution. We're talking home loans, auto loans, business loans, and gold loans. And because banks are serving such an incredibly diverse national market, this dashboard specifically highlights the regional language distribution of active leads. This is a real game changer because it ensures that local branches are perfectly aligned with their customers' linguistic preferences right from the get-go.
Let's move on and see how this builds into the actual workflow. Right below those analytics is a robust, highly secure CRM ledger. It's a persistent database that securely stores every single record and actively tracks all your prospective borrowers. For a relationship manager or an underwriter, the workflow is just incredibly smooth. Updating a lead status, like moving them from a new lead to under assessment and all the way to approved, happens in just a single tap. It literally gives teams an immediate, real-time overview of their entire active credit pipeline. To really wrap our heads around this, let's look at a real-world scenario. Let's meet a dummy lead, Ramesh Kumar. Ramesh is coming into the branch and he's requesting a business loan for 15 lakh rupees. Now, this is a very standard, everyday scenario for a retail branch manager, for sure. But how the system handles Ramesh's intake, that is where the magic really happens.
When setting up Ramesh's intake profile, relationship managers obviously need to capture way more than just a name and a loan amount, right? This comprehensive new assessment intake form allows the bank to capture really rich qualitative details and your standard quantitative inputs. But to truly unlock prospect intelligence, the platform goes a step further. It allows for the input of unstructured behavioral profiles. So think notes on the borrower's business acumen or maybe their local reputation. And it even pulls in direct bank ledger transactions. By securely gathering all of this data in one place, the underwriter is building an incredibly rich, holistic profile of the prospect.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the standout feature built right into the intake form, the localized language selector. The relationship manager can just seamlessly select the borrower's preferred language, whether that's Hindi, Tamil, Bengali, or any of the other constitutional languages we mentioned. So why does this actually matter? Well, the ability to effortlessly draft documents and communicate critical credit decisions in the borrower's native tongue, it dramatically drives up trust. It transforms what is usually a confusing, kind of intimidating financial process into a transparent, comfortable conversation. And ultimately, that drives up lead conversions for the bank.
Okay, so once the profile and the language are all set, the relationship manager hits Run AI Underwriting and Score Profile. This triggers the secure Gemini AI engine and puts it straight to work. Instantly, the AI is diving deep, analyzing Ramesh's cash flows, his transaction frequencies, and all those associated risk metrics. It's literally doing all the heavy lifting of complex financial analysis in the absolute blink of an eye.
Within seconds, the system generates these objective, AI-driven metrics. Prospect Assist AI calculates verified monthly income and identifies the disposable surplus based on transaction trends. Then, it generates a highly objective repayment capacity score, right alongside a lead conversion probability percentage. This highly structured risk-aware dashboard is amazing because it helps banks instantly prioritize highly qualified prospects based on hard data, rather than just guesswork or gut feelings. And this brilliantly illustrates the why behind those scores. The platform generates a structured lending risk assessment report, giving credit committees instant talking points. It clearly flags the qualitative strengths, like noting that Ramesh has a healthy balance sheet and high transaction frequency. But crucially, it also objectively flags potential weaknesses, such as maybe a high debt-to-income ratio or irregular deposits, complete with actionable recommendations. It's basically a complete, at-a-glance underwriting summary.
But hey, remember our language selector from earlier? Here is where it really pays off. Crucially, the platform provides this multilingual summary card. The system actually auto-generates a clear, simplified summary of the entire credit decision. And because we selected Hindi earlier for Ramesh, it is perfectly translated into Hindi. This localized explanation is now ready to be shared with the branch team or handed directly to the customer. It completely removes the friction and confusion from the final decision process. It's just brilliant. Once the underwriter is satisfied with this report, there's a simple one-click integration to save lead to pipeline. With just that single click, the prospect is actively tracked in the central CRM database. Ultimately, whether a bank is processing high-value business loans for clients like Ramesh, or everyday auto loans, or even microfinance gold loans, Prospect Assist AI helps Indian banks streamline all of their workflows. It empowers them to eliminate those historical language barriers we talked about and confidently grow their loan books. So the absolute crucial takeaway for us today is just how transformative this technology is for retail credit intelligence. By combining advanced AI models with deep linguistic localization, we aren't just processing loans faster, we're fundamentally changing who gets access to capital and how they experience that entire process. Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. If AI can unlock financial inclusion in India across 22 different languages, bridging the gap between complex data and human connection, what global barriers will it break down next? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you enjoyed experiencing a glimpse into the future of inclusive lending.